Hey guys, Happy New Year. It is January 1st, the first day of 2022. I hope everybody had a happy, healthy, safe New Year. I am back here in the same hotel as I was in on Christmas Day when I made my first video. That was the day I was waiting for the next day to pick up my daughter to come back to Colorado with me. And today was that crappy day when I had to bring her back here to be with her family here. So, bringing my daughter back here is always really hard. It's hard on everybody, but it's especially hard on her. I've had times where she's cried for 45 minutes easily, not wanting to leave me, which, makes sense. I'm her mom. I'm the one she should really be with. She should be with me and visiting aunts, uncles, cousins, whoever. But, it is what it is, and the family court system is what it is, and you just got to keep fighting. And that brings me to, what I'm going to kind of talk about today. So I wanted to make my daughter's um, return here to her other family a bit easier on her because it breaks my heart when I see her so just totally sad and heartbroken about leaving me. And I don't want her to be okay with being away from me, but I also want to make it easier on her to leave me. So on that, I always tell her, and she knows that the number one rule in our family in terms of things like that is everyone always comes back. And she knows that. And I reiterate it every time anyway. But so on the plane, I'm thinking, well, this is a great opportunity for me to be alone and be able to make this video. And so I was wondering, well, what could I talk about? And so I decided to involve my daughter in a sense that I asked her to look through these quotes that I had and for her to pick a quote that she best identified with. And so I have it here. This kid, such an awesome kid, right? So she happened to pick a quote from one of my favorite women in history, Eleanor Roosevelt, and I'm reading it. It's, "You must do the things you think you cannot do." Perfect, right? So, doing the things you think you cannot do is based on your fears of the things you think are not possible for yourself. And one of the biggest things for me was, of course, the first thing was not just getting sober, but staying sober. Like, that shit is hard. You know, it's easy to go out and buy a bottle of alcohol or pop a pill and keep going through this cycle. Getting sober is really hard, and that's where doing things you think you cannot do, it's that fear of what are you going to do next when you don't know how to cope with something and you can't pick up that drink or that drug. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in your ability to go out and get the help. And then you really have to do it. Like, you got to really do it. And there's tons of times where I'm sorry, I should say, there are tons of times where I just wanted to say, F it, right? This is just beyond anything that I'm capable of doing. And then you have to stop and you got to reset that thought, right? So I reset that thought and I got sober because I put all the work into it. Then here it comes again. Doing the things I think I can't do. You can get sober. Then you got to stay sober, right? So I had to stay sober. So it's like, well, now what? I can't do this. How am I supposed to do this, right? But I had more reasons to stay sober than to go out and use. First I had my daughter, then I had my now husband, and now I have another daughter. So I have all these reasons, all these eyes looking at me, needing me, and I realized how much I needed myself. And I did it. That that was a huge one, right? So now there's another thing I think I can't do, and that's getting my daughter back into my life, my oldest daughter back into my life, and fighting to have her back in my life permanently, where I don't have to do this flip flop of flying back and forth, flying twice, 4 times sometimes within the span of a week, right? And that's scary, especially when you're doing it not alone. I have my husband and I have the support of everybody watching this right now, right? But that was a really hard one because I'm going up against attorneys. I'm going up against people who have intimidated me for over a decade, who have manipulated me, gaslighted me. They're manipulating my daughter. They're manipulating the judicial system, right? And I constantly want to give up. And even now, I want to just settle for this court order that says I get her, right? For parenting time, for visitation. I get my daughter to come visit me however many times a year. And I want to give up and just say, I can't do this. We can't afford this. They manipulate her to a degree where I have to almost reset her every time she comes. So she remembers that me, my husband, her sister, we're the good people, right? And then this feeling, this weight on my shoulders of wanting to give up. Here's my daughter. She picks this quote, and I don't know if she picked it because she identified with it or because she thought I identified with it. Because she's a smart kid. She knows things. I mean, my 4-year-old knows things, so my daughter, who's almost 11, definitely knows things, right? So she picks this quote, knowing that I'm going to be sitting in this room alone, thinking about things and trying to process things. And for whatever reason she picked it, she's right. I need to keep facing these fears and not giving up this fight because I've come so far, facing guardians and forensic therapists and attorneys who are, in all honesty, corrupt. I mean, if you could see the body cam footage of my judge's DUI arrest, it was appalling. And here this woman gets to make a decision on whether my daughter lives with me, right? These are the kinds of things that I'm going up against. And so it's easy, again, to say, I can't do this. It's bigger than me. It's too hard. I don't have the money. I don't have the means. I don't have the brains. I'm not smart enough. Everything. I can come up with every reason to give up. But every single one of those reasons are exactly why I shouldn't give up. Because at the end of that fear is a little girl waiting for her mother to fight for her, right? I fought to stay sober, right? Fought to get sober, stay sober, so I can prove to myself, to my kids, to everybody that I can do this and I am worthy, right? And so I want to keep fighting because I want my life to continue to grow and be more amazing. And, I'm very lucky that I have such a dedicated husband who really helps me with the things that I think that I can't do. And he helps me learn. He helps me understand things that I don't understand about the judicial system. He supports me in a way where when I want to give up, I don't, because I see that he doesn't give up. And it reminds me of why I'm doing things. I'm a I'm a great mom, and I know that because I have this great 4-year-old daughter that I've been raising from day one, of course with the help of my husband, but she's with me basically 24/7 up to this year when she started preschool, and she's a great kid. I've had people tell me that they could just tell I'm a great mom because she speaks for me. The kind of kid that she is. She's smart and talented and has these manners that are amazing, right? And where would she get this from if it weren't from me? And, I know I'm kind of rambling at this point because I've got these thoughts back and forth, right? Going in every direction because my kid picked this amazing quote from an amazing woman, who fought so hard for women like me to have a voice. And so I'm going to keep fighting, and it's going to keep being hard, and I'm going to keep talking to you guys. And, I hope that if there are other moms or parents or anybody out there going through anything in life right now, be it addiction or custody or finding a better job or doing anything with their life that they think they can't do, I need you to know that you can. Because I was basically a hopeless case. There was no hope, right, for me to ever be well or get healthy and live the life that I'm living, an honest, clean, healthy, amazing life. Whoever thought that I'd be able to keep a roof over our head and food in our mouths and have a strong, stable relationship with a wonderful man who I married and raise a child. I remember when my 4-year old was born, I looked at her and I said, how am I supposed to raise her till she's 18? And, I was thinking too far ahead, but she's 4. I've done it so far, right? Flying colors. So if I can do these things and I can dig within myself and find reason and hope and face these things that I thought were bigger than me, if I can overcome them, you can. You have to want it. And when you want it, you have to go for it. And you have to be humble enough to ask for help and say, I need this. Today, in today's society, we are trying to get rid of the stigma of mental health, of addiction. We're trying to make it okay for moms to talk about postpartum depression. And we're trying to do these things without the fear of being put into a hospital or having our children taken away. And I spoke up and I got help. And I did it with some fear, but I also did it with a brave face and the belief that if I ask for help, I'll get help without the fear of things being taken from me. And it worked. And that's the first step. If you ask that for that help and you go out and you get that help from a professional or a support group and you keep doing it, I promise you, if you put your all into it, it'll work. And it doesn't always work the first time around, Life is a slippery slope. And it's okay if you falter. You just have to be able to accept that you didn't get it the first time, and you can't beat yourself up over it, and you can't give up just because you had a slip or a mistake or whatever it is that's going on with you that you didn't get the first time around. But if you keep fighting for it and you do the things you think you can't do, your life will start to change. And I hope that things start to change for me. I've come a really long way with my daughter, and, I constantly wish that I could have done it sooner. I wish that she weren't taken from me in the sense of, no DYFS or CPS took her from me. The judicial system put a child with dangerous people all because I didn't have the money or the knowledge to do better. And I want you all to know that if you try, you can do it at some point or another. Um, I know a lot of you watching have been extraordinarily supportive in more ways than I can list in my quest to have my daughter with me for full time. And between all the love and the support that I get, and then having two daughters, sisters that belong together, and this need and desire to have my family and my life complete, I'm going to keep doing the things I cannot do. And I hope all of you do. And I hope my daughters do, and I hope my husband does. All my friends and family. That's what I wish for me, and it's what I wish for you. And Happy New Year, and have a great night.